everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Marisa. I'm finally making my first YouTube video for my channel. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so I feel a little awkward talking to a camera. I'm used to talk to people. I'm a teacher, so I might be looking down or not directly to you, but this is for you. So I wish I was doing something else, like, selling something. I'm not selling anything, or doing a teaching video, or, those fashion or makeup videos, but I'm not. This is just me talking to you in my apartment. So the reason I'm doing these videos is because I want to share with you my story, with those of you especially that have a foot injury, especially if you injured your calcaneus bone or heel bone. This is not fun. A foot injury is not fun at all, but a heel injury, it's not a joke. On October 4th, I was riding my bicycle abroad, so I was not here in the United States. I live in Connecticut, and I lost control of my bike. I flew off my bike. It was wet, and I landed on the side of the road on my back. The bike was over my legs, so I really didn't know what has happened to me at the moment. I was able to move my bike away from my legs, and I noticed that my left foot was very swollen. I mean, it was like in 2 seconds, I could tell that was this big, and it was all bruised, and my legs were all bruised as well. So I wasn't sure, what if I broke something. It was just, a bad fall. So I was taken to a near clinic where I was waiting for a long time. No ice. Unfortunately, they didn't have any ice. So for something like this, it's important that you put ice right away, especially when it's swollen like that. So I waited probably like 45 minutes. I got an x-ray, and as I was waiting, the doctor told me that he had good news, that nothing was broken, that I probably have sprained my ankle, and it was really bad. So he just wrapped it up. I was like, yay. So I was thinking, it's gonna take a while, but nothing is broken, so I was all good. He wrapped it up and gave me crutches. Let me tell you, crutches are not fun at all. It was the first time I was using these crutches. They were kind of different. I think I have a picture right here. Well, I fell twice on these crutches. But I got around. I also rented a wheelchair because I had 4 left days before coming back to United States. So the wheelchair helped just to get around if I had to get out somewhere, but it was painful. In my mind, I was thinking something was wrong because I have sprained my ankle before, actually only once, but it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't that painful. The doctor gave me also pain medicine, so I could, take it every like 6 hours, I think. but I put a lot of ice and I rested most of the time because that's how you treat, an injury on your ankle. It's just resting and icing. So and actually I have the x-ray here. This is the x-ray that they took there. So if you can see, this is the calcaneus bone right here. And this is my ankle, and that ankle it's fine. It's not broken. This happened on a Tuesday, 4th, and I came back on Sunday. So coming back on a plane with a broken bone, especially if it's your leg or your foot, not sure if you ever experienced something like that, but it's stressful. So a few things, I thought it was important if some of you are abroad right now and you have to come back to or go back to your country or your home, because this could happen in your own country and you have to take a plane to go home. For me, it was a long way, door to door. It was 16 hours flight between, transferring planes, and I had connections. So a few things that I thought it was important to share is that when you are flying, first you call the airlines right away and request a wheelchair service, because unless you're very good with crutches, it is very, very stressful to walk with crutches. If you have luggage, a bag, or if you travel by yourself. I traveled with my husband, so I had help. He was, getting all the luggage. He was doing all the work. But so request a wheelchair service. Go to the airport ahead of time, because you think that you are in a wheelchair, you're going to go faster, but you're not. This is the first time I ever had to do this, and I hope it's the last one. But it's so you get to the airport. Sometimes someone is waiting there for you, but most of the time you'll find wheelchairs outside. So that for me, I found a wheelchair outside the airport. Sometimes they have special places where they store them. And so my husband pushed me to the check-in area. And we did the check-in. The check-in area, they already informed that I needed assistance. So I waited for someone, the attendant, to come. So you have to wait. They're not there waiting for you. Especially they don't have a lot of people in some airports, and so they have to take turns taking you here and there. So someone came over. She pushed me to the place where you put all your luggage and inspection. So we did that. Then they asked me if I could get out of my wheelchair and walk through the metal detector, and I could do that. So I could do it with crutches. But if you can't get up, they will inspect your wheelchair while you're sitting there. So I got up and I went through the metal detectors on my crutches. Of course, the crutches are metal, so they just inspect me with a little machine, and I was all clear. So I sat back on my wheelchair, and someone else actually came over, because that girl left. So someone else came over and took me all the way to the gate. At the gate, you wait there until you start boarding. Wheelchairs go first. So you will go first with your companion, if you have someone. They will push you all the way to the door, the plane door. So you have to be specific and let them know if you can't walk with crutches through the airplane to your seat. They will bring a narrower, some airports have these, a wheelchair, because the aisles are very narrow on planes. So they need to navigate through the aisle with you. So, but if you can walk with crutches, I think it's a little easier. You don't have to wait as much. So I walk with crutches, which was very stressful and painful. But remember, the airline, most people, at least for me, they were super helpful. They offer me a few seats. The first flight was just 3 hours, so it wasn't that bad. So we had two seats, and it was fine. You know, I could put my feet up on my husband's lap, and then we had extra room for my legs. So that's important. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit more, or you can ask the attendant if they can give you those seats if they're free. Again, you know, ask for help. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to ask, because they actually feel sorry for you, especially if you tell them the story. You know, like everybody was asking me, what happened to you? You know, so as I was telling them what happened, they were super helpful. So then you are the last ones to leave the plane. So everybody leaves the plane. So again, if you have a connecting flight, it's important that you know you let them know. So depending what airport you're going to, if it's a big airport, like I went to a huge airport, so they were waiting for me with, it was kind of like a truck, or you know, something like that. I would go in, I was sat on a wheelchair, and I have some pictures. You can see them here. And so they transported us. It was a few of us on a wheelchair to another area of the airport, because sometimes you have to walk a lot from, you know, the place where you land to the next flight, especially if it's international like mine was. So they brought me all the way to the next station. Of course, you have to have your boarding pass, everything. You have to show them who you are. They check on the computer. And then someone brought me to the next gate. Actually, I was brought to another place where all these people in wheelchairs are. So I waited there until another wheelchair attendant came to get me. So meanwhile, I went to the bathroom with my husband's help. Some airports, they have, I think most airports should have handicap bathrooms or restrooms. So I encourage you to go to one of those handicap restrooms because you have handles, you know, and it's a lot easier. They're higher. I was learning as I started this journey how difficult it is, you know, to have any kind of injury or mobility issues. So really it made me aware of all these little things that we take for granted. And because, you know, if we're healthy, we walk around, we don't really notice that, you know, we need ramps and we need handles and we need so much that, and I'm a healthy person. I'm very active. I'm 57 years old, but I'm not that old. But still, you know, I think physically I'm in good shape. So I could, you know, get up and you know, jump on one leg. But still, it's especially at the beginning when you get hurt and it's the first or 2 weeks, you're not used to it. So there are a lot of things that you get dizzy. I got dizzy on my crutches at first. That's why I fell a couple times because, or I was walking on carpet. And so luckily, you know, someone was there. So they helped me out. But, and I didn't hurt myself. But still, I mean, my legs were all bruised from my accident, and it hurt a little bit. So if you have an accident, maybe your body hurts too from your accident. In my case, my body didn't hurt as much, but my foot did. So going back to the plane story, so then they take you to the next gate, and on my second flight home, it was a long flight. It was like 7 hours. So the flight attendant was super nice. I was the first one to board, and he was like, no, 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 no. First, my seat was all the way in the back, so I had to walk all the way. So imagine if it's 300 seats or whatever. It's like I couldn't walk all the way back there. I mean, I could, but I was tired already. And so he said, no, no, you need to have a seat at front. So he was with the iPad looking for a seat, and luckily he found us a whole row. There were 4 seats or 5, I don't remember, for the 2 of us. So it was perfect because I could lay down and rest for all those hours. It was a long, long trip, but I made it. The problem with the altitude is like your feet or your foot, in this case, one, get very swollen. So you have to have your foot elevated. That's another thing that is super important. You probably know by now, right? Icing, elevate your foot as much as you can. So the fluids, don't concentrate on that area. It's called edema, I think. And and the pain is less. It's less pain when your foot is not as swollen. So I tried to put my foot up. I put some pillows that the flight attendant brought me. I mean, airplane pillows are very flat, but I think I got every extra pillow I could find on the plane and put them up there. And then someone was waiting for me, so I walked again on my crutches to the exit, and someone was waiting on a wheelchair, so I went through immigration. And it's true that you go, you get through, you don't have to wait in line with everybody else, but still, you have to wait. So we got through immigration and customs. And then we got our luggage. And then, that was the end of our trip. We took a taxi and came back home. We live in Connecticut, but we also have an apartment outside Boston. My husband, it's a long story, but my husband works here in Massachusetts, and so he lives in an apartment during the week, and then on weekends he goes back to Connecticut. So we're lucky that we have an apartment here in Boston. So we came over to our apartment, and that was the end of our trip. So I made an appointment before, getting here with, I have an orthopedic doctor. And I made an appointment. So we got here on Sunday, and I made the appointment for Monday. So the day after, that was Monday 11th, Veterans Day, I remember, October. And so thinking that, this is just a sprained ankle, and, but still I had to get it checked and see what to do next. So this is the first part of my videos, and I don't want to bore you that much. So next time I'll tell you the second week. So this was my first week. The second week of my injury, my story, and I hope you join me, and just give me thumbs up or subscribe if you like. I also have an Instagram account page, so you can follow me on my Instagram as well, where I put more pictures and I tell a little bit about the story. I have to tell you that this is my 7th week now after I had my accident. So I will be telling you a lot more. And I hope that this is kind of a communication, kind of we can talk to each other and we can help each other. When I was looking for um, a foot injury, I could not find a lot about calcaneus or heel. And so now you know that it wasn't a sprained ankle, it was a fracture of my calcaneus foot. So the original diagnosis was wrong. And so I'll tell you what happened next on my next video. Thank you so much for joining me and see you next time.